The chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from North Carolina, Ms. Ross. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Attorney General Olsen, for joining us today. I'm going to shift focus and ask you to answer some questions about cybersecurity that you haven't been asked yet. In North Carolina, our Attorney General recently announced that 2021 saw a record number of reported data breaches, which have affected more than 2.4 million North Carolinians. My district has felt the impact ransomware attacks on a multi-state infrastructure operation cause, such as the 2021 attack on the Colonial Pipeline. Following this attack, more than 70% of Raleigh gas stations ran out of fuel, leaving my constituents with limited transit options. As you know, Colonial Pipeline paid a ransom to get its systems back online. In June 2021, DOJ directed federal prosecutors to coordinate ransomware investigations with the new Ransomware and Digital Extortion Task Force. Soon after, DOJ was able to work with the IRS and the courts to claw back $2.3 million of a $4.4 million ransom payment paid by Colonial Pipeline to a group using DarkSide ransomware. While this attack was heralded as a great success, no similar actions that we know of have been taken in the intervening years since that success. Is the Colonial Pipeline operation indicative of a new strategy of interagency assistance on behalf of the U.S. government, or was it just a one-off situation because of how great the impact was?
So I do think the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack was constituted a bit of a wake-up call because of the nature of the attack on a portion of our critical infrastructure, Congresswoman. We are engaged now in the Justice Department in a concerted effort to address the challenge of ransomware, which has increased significantly in the past several years. But what we see is cyber attacks, as I think you appreciate, that span the range of threats to our national security, from ransomware to efforts to steal our secret information, to efforts to steal our trade secrets, efforts to interfere with our political process through misinformation, and even efforts to debilitate our critical infrastructure. So cyber-enabled attacks across the board are a significant concern, and in the National Security Division, we particularly focus on those attacks that emanate from nation states. And for that, we are most concerned about China and Russia, and also Iran and North Korea.
Well, in addition to the nation states, we do have these rogue actors, sometimes encouraged or enabled by nation states. And because of the nature of blockchain payments, when the recipient of the payment is anonymous, the trail of payments could be easier to follow. Why is it difficult to simply intercept all cryptocurrency payments made to ransomware gangs?
So I appreciate very much that you seem to have a deep understanding of this challenge. And for one, I totally agree that in some cases it's hard to discern or distinguish between criminal groups and nation states because of the ways in which certain nations might enable or support the work of criminal hacking groups. When it comes to the recovery of crypto payments for ransomware, the challenge there is that these groups are, by nature, seek to hide their steps, and it can make it difficult to identify the movement of money that's paid in ransom. I would note that we did announce, the department announced last year, about a year ago, that we had seized 85% of the bitcoins that Colonial Pipeline had paid as a ransom to the hacking group DarkSide. And we were able to track it and recover that significant portion of that in that case. But that's not always going to be true, again, because these groups, again, by their nature, seek to hide their tracks.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, and I yield back.